Hello, welcome back to Ones of the Force, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Phil from Back of Awesomeness. I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host Dave from Life of Brien and George from Cinema Savvy. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Good evening, good evening. It's nice to be back in the world of Star Wars.
Yeah, nothing much has happened the past couple of weeks, no news, no trailers, no...
We're live at a reasonable time too.
Yeah.
It's nice, yeah. To be honest, after the celebration, I was a little bit Star Wars'd out after that Sunday. I was like, you know what, I need a bit of respite from it, and it's nice to now be back with it and back on this. I'm ready again.
Yeah, I was grateful for the week off. Yes, no, it's been a good couple of weeks. So we're happy to have the week off, but we're happy to be back. Celebration. If you guys haven't seen our videos, we did how many videos did we do? Like 9 videos in 5 days. We did the preview. Then we did
total. Yeah,
it 9 in 5 days.
It was quite a lot. What I will say, just quickly going into this episode for those watching, we're going to be covering 1 or 2 things from Celebration because technically this is a normal episode. So we're just going to gloss over the major things that we have to talk about, but we are obviously going to be focusing on the news. Well, what news has come since Celebration,
which doesn't be much, but we've got some things, so it's all right. I mean, yeah. If you guys want to have a proper look in depth into Celebration, there's a playlist on the channel with all of our videos from the weekend, so you can find everything there for a full in-depth look at it. But yes, so George, do you want to announce our nice little thing first?
Yes, let's hit the double whammy of announcements. So we obviously moved to the channel. We wanted to do some new things, it frees up a schedule, so much stuff like that. One of our ideas that we spoke about a long time ago, not in a galaxy far away on a Skype conversation, was a possible watch along. And what day is approaching very soon? Well, we have 2 special days approaching very soon. We have, of course, May the 4th, the official Star Wars Day. But this year we have a 40th anniversary, the end of May as well. And we're kind of excited to announce that we're doing 2 very, very special videos which we want people to get involved with. We are going to be doing next Thursday on the 4th of May 2017. We are going to be doing a very special Rogue One watch-along / commentary. Because, let's be honest, Lucasfilm didn't go and make one.
So we should do it for you.
That's an excellent point. Yes.
We're here first. We've claimed it. We have copyrighted it. We have our lawyers on the go. But no, it's going to be fun. It's something different, something unique. I've kind of held off watching. I've kind of held off watching it until next week, if I can say that. But that's our May the 4th big video. It's nice to do something on that day. And the other one is, obviously, it's the 40th anniversary of A New Hope. So what better way to entertain the masses than a second watch-along? Except it's going, I think, to be the Blu-ray edition, to be kind of said.
I think that's going to be the best one for us all to watch, so we know we're watching the same thing.
Yeah, just because of timing, deleted scenes, it's going to be able so people can watch it at home. Not everyone has the originals or the DVDs, the widescreens, the despecialized. We're just going to go for the bog standard Blu-ray because we can all put it on our TVs and watch it together without timings getting mixed up. So. Yeah, on the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, we'll be doing our version of A New Hope because we haven't really discussed any of the films specifically on our channel.
Yeah,
not yet.
That's going to be good. I think it's.
I guess now we're getting 2 in a month.
Look at us.
I reckon just the 3 of us, just off the air, should just watch Rogue One into episode 4 first, just because we can. In fact, that's like one thing. If you want to do it at home, you can then watch it with our commentary on episode on Rogue One and then episode 4. So there you go, lovely little tie-in together there.
And obviously, the best thing about it'll be up on iTunes as well, so you can always take that commentary and have that, and just have us in your ears instead of the awesomeness sound that's in Star Wars. It gets boring. You've heard it all before. Our voices are so much. No, you're right. It's probably better, but no, still listen to us. It'd be awesome.
This is true.
I'm looking forward. I really am looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, we really are. It's something that we're quite looking forward to. We're looking forward to branching out and doing different things on the channel. Like I've got my Star Wars Celebration box unboxing at some point. George did part 1 of our Black Series unboxing. Dave, you're still yet to do part 2, but you will.
I've started part 2, and what I'm going to say now, it started out as I'll just unbox these and let everyone see them, and then it became more of me talking about vintage collection figures. So it's turned to a little bit more of a video. So it's coming along, but it's more depth than I thought it was going to be. once I started it, because I got down the line of why I love the vintage figures, and I've got about 50 of the original vintage Kenner figures. So it's become more about those as well. So, and the packaging and things. So it will be coming, but it's a bit of a work at the minute. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to you when I get to it. So it'll be a nice video on the channel as well when that gets out.
Yeah, and of course we'll have our Thrawn review at some point as well. So if Dave and I get our copies.
I will be buying mine as I travel to London this Friday to go to the Star Wars Identities exhibition.
Ah, yes, because finally you're going to catch up with us and see it. Yes, it's so good. You will love it. Your wallet will hurt, but trust me, it's worth it. Are you doing Two Swords as well?
Yes, doing the Two Swords as well. I was going to get some footage while I'm there, just a quick look at a few things, so I'll probably get that up on the channel as well. If anybody who hasn't been, so you can just see what's there and have a look around that as well. So I'll get some video of that so everyone can have a look around. We'll put that up on the channel so you can see it all and see what it was like.
Indeed. So yes, that's what we personally got coming up on the channel. So that's our announcements. And now into the major news. So the first bit of major news we have this week is episode 9 has got its release date, being May 24th, 2019. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that May 24th the actual release date of episode 4? From 1977?
It's either 4, 5, or 6. That's why I didn't want to say anything a minute ago in case I'm proven wrong on the internet. But it's one of
Robin's at work tonight, so he won't be commenting down below yet. So he can't correct us live, which is fine.
It's almost to the day. Well, it'll be 42 years later, I guess. But I was kind of excited they announced it because we actually had some news for them to announce to us. The wider scale is when I first read it, I thought, why on earth didn't they announce this 2 weeks ago? And then within 5 minutes, Disney dropped Lion King, Frozen 2, Indiana Jones 5. They did a whole slate for about 3 years of major films. So, okay, I guess why they didn't do a celebration. Still could have, but yeah, I love the May release date, but I'm now so taken to December. Yeah, when they first announced the episode, I was like, I can't wait a Star Wars film in May again. The climate 10 years ago compared to today, there's not like 3 Marvel films that come out in May and like April and June, whereas now it's everyone runs away from December because Star Wars has it. Star Wars disrupted Oscar season. Star Wars slayed Avatar 2 and pushed it back 3 years. It kind of became, the merchandise is coming on sale. Anything I don't buy in the next 2 months, I can at least get at Christmas. It was kind of like this build-up, and let's be honest.
However, they did push back 8 from May through to...
Yeah, and
so we could see Han Solo or 9 push back. But
I don't think... Yeah, I'd like them to. I think now it's too close to production of Solo. They did it before they started filming. It was straight after episode 7. They did it for 8. And that's kind of like, okay, does this mean they're keeping December? Because I'm loving this December stuff now. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it's nice it's coming sooner. But I kind of summed up my tweet at Dave like Christmas is cancelled.
I must say that was one of my first thoughts when it came out. That I was just like, yeah, that's ruined Christmas for me.
It's ruined Christmas for me as well.
It made December that run up because it was literally the weekend before Christmas.
Yeah,
a lot of people finishing work around there. You're starting to get in that festive mood. You got a massive Star Wars film. I have a friend who lives in London. He comes up, visits at Christmas. We'd always go see that. That would be our thing at Christmas. The midnight show, and I think around the Christmas time. I absolutely adore the December release. And for one, it's nice to go back to May. It's nostalgic, and that's when Star Wars films were. But I'll miss the December release. I really will.
Indeed. However, I did come across an interesting point earlier. That we could actually have our next celebration before episode 9 comes out, but we've had an interesting backwards and forwards on our group chat that we could actually end up seeing the last day of celebration, or the first day of the celebration, being the release date of, or at least maybe the premiere of, episode 9.
Yeah. So if we look at the celebrations, certainly the American ones, April is their date. Obviously, this year's April, D23 was in July. Last year, no D23, so celebration was July. Year before, D23 July, celebration April.
Anaheim was April, yeah, indeed.
I think, okay, we're going to get, maybe, I'm assuming, I hope you get April again, because it would be really disappointing to have a celebration because there's not one for the Han Solo film. And if they're going to do a summer one and they missed it for episode 9, that's 2 big films that you're not getting a celebration for, and it would be such a missed opportunity to do it before episode 9. You could celebrate the ending of the new trilogy. You could say previewing what's to come post episode 9, spin-offs, TV shows, stuff like that. I don't know if they'd ever risk showing it in a crowd of thousands of lunatic Star Wars. It would be, if they did, to me, that's the only way they can top the 40th anniversary panel, is genuinely showing the film earlier. They would have to be on some real security lockdown for it, though. But if they did something like that, because I think when episode 2 came out,
in the auditorium, there'd be a seat, then a bouncer, then a seat, and then security, all the way around. So literally, you've got someone looking at everybody in the room.
Yeah. It would be blackout EMP device in the room that you're not having your phones out.
Because if what happened, and I mean, I'm too young to know this. When episode 2 came out, there was a celebration just before it. And what I remember someone saying that I saw on YouTube, who he's listened to, he said he was at that celebration and they showed the Yoda Count Dooku lightsaber duel. Not all of it, but they showed more than a clip of it, and they lost their minds. And whether or not they'd ever risk showing something like that, but if it's going to be close to the release date...
They could show like the first 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, I could imagine something like that. Like for the Chris Nolan films, he does IMAX prologues, where it's the first scenes. I would love something like that, but it's very intriguing now when the date is for episode... for the next celebration, not because of the timing of episode 9.
The interesting thing is, though, Kathleen Kennedy did admit they would probably do 10. They didn't say 11 and 12, but they did... They have dropped hints at potentially doing 10. So they could do it as a, by the way, here's the bomb dropping, we're doing 10. Now, not necessarily doing another trilogy, but they could do 10.
She said that the statement yesterday for the release date said it's finishing the trilogy. We know they're going to do 10, 11, 12. Not 30 years, probably 15, where you'd get middle-aged Rey and Ren. This sort of this midlife crisis. I don't know, but...
We'll have Fed and Poe sat in the retirement home.
Pomance can live on, or maybe there'll be some passed away.
Ray and Ren sounds like an awesome detective series.
Ray and Ren, the sitcom, the two cousins.
Ray and Ren, they fight crime.
It's just two cousins come together via their uncle/dad who ran away for 30 years.
The Force Odd Couple.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting release date. Again, it came out of nowhere, but that is because Disney obviously had a very important board meeting, which would have been fascinating to have been on that board meeting, actually.
Everything now around that. It must be amazing to go into a Disney room where they go, right, what should we talk about next? Right, let's talk about the Marvel stuff. All right, we finished that. What should we talk about? The Star Wars. Let's talk about the Star Wars stuff that's coming.
But the interesting thing is, of course, we've got new TV shows and other bits and pieces coming up. In fact, that's going to be our Cantina talk later in the episode, but we'll get onto that later. So yes, continuing on with our news, actually picking up what George said, there was the Kathleen Kennedy statement. She confirms, unfortunately, the theatricals are not going to be released. I think it's because George Lucas did actually say his definitive version was the 97 special edition, which then begs the question, why the hell did he mess with it for the Blu-rays? I mean, he didn't put that horrible no in there in the special edition. So yeah, exactly. So come on, I would like them to release it, but sadly though, she said they're not going to.
It's a very interesting one because this was at a celebration, this was said. But it's only come out now. There's a podcast called Steel Wars that recorded their episode at celebration. They somehow got Kathleen Kennedy as a guest. It's come to light the last few days when they asked her, are you going to be releasing the originals? And she kind of said, no. She said they're George's films. I don't know the full sort of paragraphs, but the main summary is that she said they have no intention of releasing them at the minute. And that they confirmed that George doesn't own we know he doesn't own the rights, but there's no contract sealed where George has blocked them from releasing it. They can release them, but they're choosing not to. That's stuff that I'd imagined would have took place, but with Kathleen being a good mate of George Lucas's.
I mean, my thoughts personally would be they would wait until 9 is out and then do a 1 through 9 box set.
Yeah, because they're waiting, I think, is it 2020 or 19, the rights revert from the home video, because obviously episode 4...
2020 is when Fox goes back to...
yes, so I would never be surprised the day that finishes that Disney come and announce everything, cinematic releases. It's a shame, but I completely understand why.
But I do reckon they'll do a box set. I mean, partly the reason why we can see this anyway is the lack of extras we're guessing on the Blu-rays we've had so far. They've been very lackluster. I mean, I was personally extremely disappointed with Rogue One, where it had no commentary, it had no deleted scenes, especially considering the amount of deleted scenes that are in the trailers. I mean, that's if you want to watch the deleted scenes for Rogue One, watch the trailers. That's it in a nutshell. There's probably a lot more we haven't seen that was shot, because reshoots, as I've said in this show before, reshoots are nothing scary. Every single film is booked with a full for a full contract, and part of the contract is a block of reshoots at the end, because when you go in the editing suite, you're going to sit down and go, I wish we had done that differently, or maybe we could add this, or you take a scene out and you need to replace something. So the actors are already contracted for a reshoot, so is the crew, everyone's there. So reshoots are nothing scary unless the studio panics and then there's some sort of announcement like with Suicide Squad or Rogue One, where they did actually change quite a bit of storyline. But again, it's down to the director's choice, and Gareth Edwards did say that part of his condition for signing on was he could do a director's cut. Now, what then will be canon or not, we'll find out at that particular juncture. But a lot of the extras we've had on there have been very lackluster, so it wouldn't surprise me if we would get, in 2020, a full 1 to 9 box set, maybe even 1 to 9 with Han Solo, Rogue One, and the yet released other anthology film, which actually would be 2020, so it might be 2021. We'd get everything in one big hit.
I'd imagine a box set of just 1 to 9, and then they'll keep doing spin-off films, and then one day they'll do a live-action TV series, and that will be next. And one day there'll be a box set which is like the James Bond 50th anniversary, where there's just disc after disc after disc after disc, which is great. It would be a great box set, but
it's terrible. I mean, I've already got enough editions of Star Wars, just as we've got a VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, cassette, things like that.
Wait, if you've got Star Wars on cassette, that would be interesting.
I put it myself, I just read the script out. But no, I think it's obviously we're going to get released. Every film they've put together a new release of a box set, and then another box set will come out. So yeah, eventually there will be this big definitive box set. You probably will get one with Rogue One in, but you'll probably get one that's just the 9 films together as well, like the Skywalker Saga, which is probably what we're looking at finishing in Episode 9.
Yeah.
So you'll get that full story as one box set. But I mean, going back to the announcement that we're not going to get the originals, I mean, there are ways and means of getting really, really good versions of the original trilogy unaltered. I'm just going now, if you ever look up the Despecialized editions, just go on Google, type in Despecialized editions, and have a look at some of the footage they put together. I've got to cut it myself, it is an absolute work of art. They've scaled them up, they've fixed so much stuff, and to watch it is a pure joy to see it. But yeah, it's certainly worth getting out and have a look. Even just the trailer for it, there's a making of the Specialized editions, which is about 20 minutes long, and that is really worth watching. See how much work they put into these to get the original back to just being the original version that was shown theatrically. And we got the release on the Blu-ray disc, not the Blu-ray, the DVDs. Oh, I can't remember how many releases ago, but they're just in anamorphic. They're not full screen, which is a bit of a letdown. So yeah, to know that we're not going to be getting them as a big release, I get it. Okay, I think it is more Kathleen's got George is. Yes, he doesn't own any of this anymore, but yeah, you're right. Like you said, he's my good friend. I'm not going to go now and go, right, we're going to release original movies that you didn't want back out there, because why rub salt in that wound? They've just obviously had such a good relationship after we saw at Star Wars Celebration. So yeah, I think it's just a shame. I think it would be nice for a lot of fans who've never ever seen those original cuts and those original without any the special effects as they were. I find them. I love watching them. Every now and again, it's just nice to see them.
Indeed. No, it's one of those things that I personally would love to see them in terms of, I would love to see them have a new box set, but I reckon it would be potentially in the 1 to 9, they might do that. Like they might release the 97 edition in Blu-ray form, because that is, and from George's perspective, that was his definitive version. From most fans' point of view, that's the definitive version. I know personally it's my favourite version. I've seen the theatricals, the special, and the Blu-ray, and for me, the 97 special edition. Although, yes, nostalgically, it has a special place in my heart. Anyway, I think because he managed to tweak what he wanted to tweak, get it how he wanted to get it, I think for me, it is the ultimate edition. But yes, so we have more news coming up. We've had the Han Solo shooting next announcement. George, you were the one that found this one out.
Yeah, it was on the news today. There was a rumor, I saw it months ago, that the Han Solo film may shoot in Fuerteventura. And it's kind of been confirmed today. It was on the internet that there's been a casting call for extras for a film called Red Cup that's shooting for 3 weeks in Fuerteventura. Just getting local, so I'm guessing if it's 3 weeks, it might not be anything major. It could just be 1 or 2 scenes. But yeah, just a kind of little bit of odd news on the side. You kind of forget the existence of Han Solo film being made because of The Last Jedi and because of the Episode 9 announcement. But it's nice to know that it's still shooting and they haven't halted production of anything going wrong, which is always good news.
Maybe there's going to be a scene of him and Lando out clubbing, down any of the streets, drunk. Just, but I'm guessing if they're there, I mean, is it? I don't even know I don't know. Is it deserty out there? Is it? I don't know.
I thought it was quite sunny and Caribbean-y. I've never been there. I've heard of people that have been there.
Well, I think they've gone from Gareth Edwards tricks going and say, wait a second, we can go to these fantastic, beautiful places and get a suntan? Yes, please! Okay, we need to go to this location. Why? Because Star Wars? It's tropical, it's fine. We can get that. I mean, it's the one interesting thing with Star Wars is George initially wanted this kind of more dirty, grimy looking, well-worn universe. Kind of like Red Dwarf. I like that aesthetic. I mean, Star Trek was always supposed to be this high-end, silly, shiny thing. But the world of Star Wars has this well-worn aesthetic to it, which is why when you have places like Tatooine, Jakku, Kryat, when you have places like Nal Hutta and Nar Shaddaa, which I'm really hoping we will see in Han Solo, you have these kind of worn down bits. So to have places like Malta being used and Fuerteventura as locations is going to be very interesting. But yes, I do hope we're going to see both Corellia, Nal Hutta, and Nar Shaddaa in the Han Solo film, because being when Han was back, not necessarily as a bounty hunter but as a smuggler, to see that kind of grimy underworld side of Star Wars is something that I'm very much looking forward to. Let's be honest, everyone's excited for a Star Wars film, but with this, there's a lot of question marks from the general public, but I'm just excited for seeing Lando. I'm excited to see how things go together and sort of create the characteristics. I know a lot of people are against that, but I want to see the Lando stuff because I remember when I was younger reading that he lost it when they were gambling together. I want to see what the film version is going to be. Are they going to stick to that? Are they going to have a new take on it? Are they going to do something new? I'm also interested to see the new Chewie style role, because they did say that they had the animated character or CG character that's the Chewie role to start with. Yeah, Chewie. Are we going to see the life debt? There's a lot of potential for this, and also I don't know if this really counts, but Kathleen Kennedy did come out and say that when Bob Iger said we'll find out how Han Solo got his name, that doesn't mean he had a different name. No, it's just how it's reputation is what I theorised. If you watch shows a couple of shows ago. But it's just to get confirmation from Kathleen. That's not the case. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of angry pitchforks outside Lucas Launch. We're not going to make any money if that's the case. If no one's coming to see us. Not that by now they haven't already made back most of their investment anyway. I mean, it's just nice with hearing these locations that they are going to these locations. They're going to places to film. It's not all in a studio. No. It's getting away from that, which is what I like. I mean, throughout Rogue One, the fact they're in places that you can actually see, so it's like it's out there, touch it, and go to some of these places like they've shot in. Yes, a lot of it's still studio based, but the amount of green screen digital character goes right down, and just that aesthetic of reality is something I'm really happy to know that they're still going out there and filming in new places. When George Lucas shows up and goes, you should use more CG, it's kind of like, thank you, Lucasfilm, for being sold. No, I mean, what planets are you looking forward to seeing? What locations do you want to see in the Han Solo film? I said I want to see like Nal Hutta, Nar Shaddaa, probably more Tatooine, kind of Corellia and stuff. What do you guys want to see? I want to see Corellia. And then, except for that, I want to see new planets. It's so easy to go to use ones, but it's like Scarif was completely new. And it's not just because it looks beautiful, it's just one of my favourite planets, especially for the fact it got absolutely annihilated at the end of the film. I'm interested to see, I do hope we get Tatooine. I do hope we get a Jabba the Hutt in there somewhere. Yes. But I want to see, obviously, the origin story.
I don't. We won't. I'm really hoping we don't get Bespin because he takes over by the time he gets episode 5. I really hope that he's just Lando is some low key smuggler before then. I don't really know. Just surprise me. Do something great. Like Jeddah. Who would have come up with an idea like Jeddah?
For me, it's exactly what George said. Corellia is obviously Corellia is going to have to be. I mean, we're going to see his base from where he started, but Tatooine, literally only because like George said, I really want to see Jabba the Hutt and which version of Jabba the Hutt they're going to use. Maybe a bad CGI version from
fat guy with a
97 special edition.
Fat Irish guy with a coat. That's what we're going to see.
But
we could also
I think it'd be interesting because obviously the difference between we get Jedi, not Jedi Jabba, that'd be weird. Return of the Jedi Jabba, and then we get the New Hope version of Jabba. So to then see what they could do with the younger, because obviously we've got the Episode 1 version as well.
Do you have Clone Wars version?
Do we know in the timeline that this film is actually?
I would say it's in the first half of the Empire's reign.
I think it's set about 5 years after the Clone Wars. I think that's what we've kind of been leaked so far in terms of what timeline. But we'll find that out closer, like probably next year. The first trailer celebration. Well, celebration next year. Yeah. So the final. No,
it's out in May.
No.
If it's coming out in May, then does that mean a trailer's gonna hit us before episode?
I reckon we could have the trailer
with 8.
With 8.
It's so weird. It's such a weird. It's not weird. It's awesome.
Do you know what's worse?
We've got Christmas at the film. We've got a few months than that. But then we do have to wait another year. So it's thick and fast. We have 3 films in sort of a span of 18 months, which is just it's awesome. But
we all remember that. The bleak periods in our life where there was no Star Wars cut, there's no announcements, there was no nothing. I mean, Dave, of course, you remember the longer periods, but I still remember between 97 and 99 where there was nothing, no announcements, and again between 2005 2015, having to wait for The Force Awakens when, from 2005 to 2012, there was, again, no announcements, no nothing. You had the Clone Wars, but that was it. So to have all these films coming right now we're kind of basically the second golden age of Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. It really is, and to get back into it.
There's no bad time to be a Star Wars fan.
The barren years after Jedi were not, for the toys went away, and it just stopped from anything until the Power of the Force figures came out again, when the special editions were just about, they've been announced. But that was a long time without anything. As a kid, you were just starting in your toys, and then everything went away from racks of it, and it was, it wasn't good. And now I get to talk about Star Wars every 2 weeks, and sometimes a bit more. And I talk to you guys. Obviously, we have a messenger going all the time where we chat. It's a good time. It's a good time to be alive. We timed this really well. Well done to our parents.
Yeah. So it's good. I mean, we kind of get away from the announcement of that one. So again, we get off track. This is what we do, though. As you guys know, we have a conversation, and also we end up procrastinating, which is why our shows tend to be quite long. So yes, next one is the Heroines of Star Wars, the animated series, which is what is it called? It's Forces of Destiny.
Series. Yeah, Forces of Destiny. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Forces of Destiny. That's coming out again May, isn't it? We've had that announced.
Yeah, it's just a micro. This is going into our celebrations, which we can go through very quickly. I think it's May. It's an animated micro series about the heroines of Star Wars. Why don't they just call it the Heroines of Star Wars? That's what I say.
It's a nice title, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not that I'm, against it. I'm sure the little girls are going to love it. But if they tell us the new animated series and you click on it and it's like a kids girl series, just call it Heroines of Star Wars and all the little girls will watch it, which is the target audience. But
we'll still watch it and review it.
I mean, it's going to be what is it? I think it's is it 2 minutes an episode, 3 minutes an episode?
Yes,
it's not going to be. Very. I know they're screening a few together when they first launch it.
No, they only
a few episodes back to back.
Yeah, Acceleration. They showed the Rey storyline.
So I mean, it looks okay. I mean, the animation style is very much back to the original Clone Wars series. It looks a lot like
2D
that.
animation.
Yeah, which is always looks nice. I don't mind 2D animation. And it's going to be aimed at It's going to be aimed at children. The dolls that are the toys, the figures, action figures that are surrounding it, are very much you can see the audience they're aiming at, and that's fine. I like that they're trying to bring not one, they're trying to bring a younger audience to Star Wars. Two, they are trying to bring more women to Star Wars, which there is a massive fan base. I mean, just from when we were at Celebration last year, the one got and the one before that, the amount of Rey costumes that I saw personally, that just after the film being out, was unreal. And I think it is a good place. It very much has been a boys' club for a long time.
Ahsoka's the first one to kind of break them all in terms of the cosplay.
That was maybe gone new. From really the Legend stuff, Mara Jade was kind of a bit popular. Saw a few cosplays of her, but they're very much aiming at bringing in females. Obviously, now the majority of our leads are now female characters.
Yeah, we've had Leia, Padme, Jin, and Rey. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and her autograph's really cheap as well.
To be fair, my Ashley Eckstein autograph card from Tots cost £20. I am well happy with that.
But no, I think you can see who they're aiming at this thing, and I mean we'll cover it when it comes out. We'll have a look at it and go through it. It's going to be. I think it's going to be sort of a nice, gentle couple of minutes of watching some Star Wars.
It's a proper cheap and nasty bangs for your buck. Good old bit of Star Wars.
Canon.
It is canon. Yes.
That is the thing, actually. Yes, it is.
It's canon. So we have to watch. It's also Hera's on Endor again, which makes it very weird. But yes, that's Force of Destiny. Now, of course, Series 4 of Rebels is going to play out as a long series arc. It's going to be the final series as well, and it won't end up at Scarif. This is again part of our celebration news. We did cover out. In fact, Dave, Robin, and myself did a full panel on that. You can show them that. You can go back and again find it in our playlist for celebration. Yeah, I'm very excited, and also got a little sad because I've enjoyed Rebels, but I'm very excited to see the future of Rebels and seeing where Series 4 takes us and who is not there by the end of it.
And for anybody who's coming, sorry, George.
I hope all but two of them are left. The two that are in Rogue One. It's because I was on the panel with you guys. I did watch the panel. I was sleeping and disappointed at what was said. I charged myself for the Battlefront panel later that evening. I
did them all, damn it.
He pulled through. Phil saved us. One thing with this, I'm really excited for them to say it's one long series arc. They kind of said that we're going to have Mandalore, then we're going to Saw Gerrera. And they said that they're going to be together. And they said there's no filler episodes this year.
Hence why there's only 15 episodes for the series.
Which is great. It's 15 episodes. This could potentially be, even Clone Wars at its best, you had filler episodes in between the good story arcs. This could genuinely be one of the best TV series in Lucasfilm animation history. This one season, I've got such high hopes. I'm not disappointed about Scarif. The only reason for this is because I know that Rebels is every year. Had it have been season 5, then yes, it should have finished at Scarif. But because of the timing, which they've let us and reinforced to us many times, is every year, it wouldn't make sense to have Scarif. Let's hope they just Thrawn kills them all at the end and walks away.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I'm looking forward to this. One long story arc, no filler episodes, as little as a P5 as possible, and it should be an amazing series. I can't wait to sit and probably knock out. We've done the special episodes, like the big episodes, but I think we'll probably going forward do more. With this being the final series, we'll probably do a breakdown of each episode as it comes out. I would have thought we'll be looking at all of that because it's going to be a big one to finish. The fact that Dave Filoni is, like you said, he's getting to finish his series the way he wants to do it. Exactly the story he wants to conclude. All well and good for me.
Oh yeah, and I'm not going to bang on about my point I made. If you go back and watch it, the one thing I said was they said the right things in the wrong order, but they announced what they announced. They did what they did. I'm very excited to see Series 4. But as I said, go back and on our channel, look at our playlist, watch our celebration videos, or if you're listening to us on iTunes, again, everything is up on iTunes, so you can download it all. In fact, we had someone tweet us the other day, Brien, I can't remember your last name, sorry, but he's catching up as well, and tweets us saying thank you for all our coverage. And again, it's one thing, we love having a conversation with you guys. We had a post go out on our Facebook page the other day that managed to reach 25,000 people. It was insane. We're loving doing this. So just leave us a comment and we will answer them on the show. Sorry, excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. But yeah, so moving on from the news, we have Star Wars. And I'll let George take this as my throat was like poking up.
Yeah. Again, we've kind of got a couple of things. I'll start with the genuinely the new thing. We have Today was announced the Shakespeare version of Episode 7, called The Fourth Doth Awaken. It's got an image of BB-8 in Victorian robes. I'm just going to go out and say it. I despise Shakespeare, the writing, all of it. I like the stories. I don't like the writing. I don't like the plays. I studied it at GCSEs. I did what everyone has to do. One thing I will makes it worse, where I live is actually Shakespeare's birth county. I'm not going to get into more details than that. So
my street address is.
Yeah, for a worldwide audience, it's like the guy that everyone thinks that if you live nearest to where I do, then you're in love with Shakespeare. No, I despise it. Yeah, I did try and get into one of these books, and they're like, no, I'm going to go and watch the film instead in English. That's my thought. It looks, the cover looks cool.
They're fun for what they are. They just, I
love them. They're hilarious. They really are hilarious.
It's nice that they've got into them. I do love Shakespeare as well, it helps. But it's I think they're fun books. I'd love the artwork they put on the front of them as well. The Return of the Jedi one, which has got Jabber on, is especially excellent. But yeah, it's just I quite like them as a series. It's I like some of the books that they've got. I think my favorite ones are the Darth Vader and Son and Darth Vader and his little princess. I can't remember the author's name escapes me, but they're excellent books. Yeah, there's some excellent things out there that someone's put together and just said, Lucasfilm, can I do this? And gone, yeah, and bang goes their books. That's great.
So well, I love. This is going off topic completely for us, but they just released the Doctor Who Mr. Men series, and that looks hilarious. I'd love to. If Star Wars did something like that, that'd be quite brilliant. But yes, also we've got the.
I was just going to say regarding Shakespeare, I went like the one, but I did like was at Celebration. I think Anaheim did Ian McDermott. I think was he doing the Emperor in the Shakespeare books?
Yeah.
I went like that was cool.
Yeah,
I did like that bit.
But then he's a Shakespearean actor, so he can
he can do it.
But yes, we had the Road to the Last Jedi books announced. So we've had there's a Luke book, a Phasma book, a Leia book, and we then also got the Inferno Squadron book for Battlefront 2 announced as well.
Yeah, and they announced loads. They didn't give any details about any of them except really the Battlefront book, which we have to talk about more in the game section. But yeah, on the author came out on the panel. No idea why but she looked really like confused and angry when she was on there. I just couldn't. This might make me sound like a terrible person. Yes, it's cool she's doing it, but there was no need for her to come out and talk about it. Everything was said in the story, and it's like she was trying to hog the stage as well. She kept going back to, yes, in my book we do this, and they're like, listen, love, you've converted Lucasfilm and Disney script into a book. That's good. It's not great. She did the exact same with Dark Disciple. That's a Dave Filoni story that you've turned into a book. It's not your own original work.
However, that is a good book.
Yes, because of Dave Filoni.
Yes.
But she didn't interfere in a panel to talk about that book.
This is true.
That's just me. No, it's the Road to the Last Jedi. They're doing loads of things. Go on StarWars.com. There's like 30 book covers. They put images out, and there's no details. It's a hard
thing to keep up with. Yeah, I think you'd have to really pick and choose your books in some of these, especially the lead-up ones to the film. Certainly, I mean, the next one is we're all going to get. George, I don't know how far you are through Thrawn.
5 chapters. Yeah. I've been very busy, which I will be able to talk to you guys about later. But I'm 5 chapters in, and probably after May the 12th, I will scourge it across a weekend.
Yeah, so I'll when I pick that up, that's the one next book I'll be in. I'll get through that, and I say once myself and Phil and George have got through it, absolutely we'll have a full review on that because I think there's going to be some really interesting stuff comes out.
I've actually got a couple of mates who've bought the book just because we're doing a review on it, so they're reading it to make sure that by the time we do our review, they're finished, they can do it with us. Which I must say, I think it's really cool the fact that we are starting to actually have an interaction with the audience. As I said, I want it to be a conversation. I know George and Dave also like chatting to you guys as well. We've got so much coming up that, we hope we can build it up. Yes, George does have a project coming up, which is getting more likes than us. Damn you, George. But it's why he's busy. We will have our book review on Thrawn later, hopefully in the next few weeks. But yes, we go on to games. We have Battlefront 2 is officially announced and is available for pre-order. Now, again, George and I did do a show on Battlefront 2, and we covered all the announcements of the classes and all the rest of it. Sorry, yes, George.
There has been. I didn't actually write it down, but it's just literally come to me a couple minutes ago. There was some stuff announced after Battlefront 2 came out. I don't know if we spoke about it, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. They confirmed that the vehicles and leaders will no longer be, for those that play it, you get power-ups. You run around and you'll literally walk into something and you'll get to go in a plane, or not plane, sorry, whoa, that's GTA. You just go in a TIE Fighter or X-Wing or something that's Star Wars-y. You then might get a hero token, which is basically like winning the golden ticket, because you just see like 30 people jetpacking towards it to try and get it. They've announced they took journalists aside after the panel, showed them loads of gameplay, and I'm assuming they let them play the alpha. But what was confirmed after was we knew about classes X, Y, Z. They confirmed power-ups are there, but the vehicles you go in normally, there's a way of doing heroes which they weren't allowed to speak about. That was confirmed. For those that like the Battlefield games, everyone loves the dice engine of when you blow up a wall with an RPG, the wall collapses. That still, unfortunately, hasn't made it through to Battlefront, which I personally don't mind. I wouldn't like to destroy the Death Star map because of accuracy to the films. Only torpedoes.
Battlefield 1, which is where they've taken the engine from for Battlefront and then kind of improved it, and now they're again improving it more for Battlefront 2. Is a different kind of game because that's supposed to be more realistic, and with Star Wars, it's Star Wars. There's no blood in Star Wars, and although I must admit though, I would like to have it in Jeddah because Jeddah plus destruction would equal hilarity. But at the same time, no, I agree with you. I don't mind them not having destruction in it. I'm more happy that they focused on having a single player campaign, with having clone troopers, with having all three eras, and they've listened to the fans basically. We're very excited to play this game. I know George and I will be getting it as soon as it comes out.
I've already pre-ordered mine. There's an edition which they said at the panel, but I will reiterate for you guys to order. It's called like the Legacy Edition or something like that. You get the game 3 days early. If you order it off shop2.net, for those in England, you will get it 4 days early because they always deliver early. I can't wait. I will be playing that game with a Poe Dameron helmet on while I'm flying around space, having the time of my life.
They also announced this pre-order bonus of having the Last Jedi characters as well.
Yeah, so you get the skins for Rey and Kylo early. You get an unnamed First Order space. They've confirmed now it's an unnamed hero vehicle for the First Order, which I assume is going to be Kylo Ren's in the film. You'll get a special version of the Millennium Falcon. You get special attributes for the Episode 8 Rey and Kylo as well, which you can swap between Force Awakens or Episode 8 versions. And then there's going to be a whole load of other stuff. Yeah, did I call it the Last 8 then?
No, you just got Last Jedi, but still, hashtag Last 8.
I will get hashtag Lasties to be the trend for this one.
Oh, you will. Oh, you will, my friend.
The game is just going to be beautiful. They just announced a Call of Duty game. They finally brought COD back to World War II. I'm sorry, but Battlefront 2's beat you to it, my friends. Battlefront 2 is going to take my life away.
For sure. Oh, for sure. I can't wait for that game to come out.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure we'll have hopefully some gameplay type video coming around.
I've got a lot planned. Yeah, I'm gonna go mental for that. I'll say it now, 6 months in advance. I'll be doing not Twitches, but open lobbies with us guys. Those are PS4s or PCs. You've got Phil. If Dave ends up doing anything, he can let us know.
You could all watch Dave literally for hours just dying.
Well, the thing is, with Dave, you've got the Xbox One, George's got the PS4, I've got a PC. Between the three of us, we have all platforms covered because we're awesome. Yeah. So there's no bias here. We're all having our own loves. But yes, so that is Battlefront 2, something we're very excited for. And then moving on to toys, I'll let Dave talk about this because he has said, he's a 3.75-inch man. So I'll let him talk about the new 3.75-inch announcements. Look, Dave, a lot of people prefer the playability of a 3.75-inch. There's a lot more to work. There's a lot less to work with. So there's a lot less articulation to worry about. George and I, of course, will be the 6-inch.
It's a family show, Phil, and we'll keep it that way. And one day I'll lose that tag and wish I'd never said it.
Never lose it. Hashtag last thing you did there. 3.75.
Forget what Phil said and go back to firstly that Poe Dameron helmet. Anybody who's watching any of the videos from Celebration, I've been on YouTube watching a few of the people walk on the floor, and they were looking at that Poe Dameron Black Series helmet, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
Stunning.
It's a stunning piece. I'm going to be getting the Stormtrooper Black Series in probably the next week or two. I've got Darth Vader, like a proper Darth Vader helmet, but I want this Stormtrooper one that looks excellent compared to some of the ones that you see for like £400. I was in Forbidden Planet's one for £400. You see the Black Series one for 78 quid, and there's not that much difference in them.
The Kylo Ren Black Series 1 is a lovely thing, and I want that for my...
That one I'd like as well. I think, yeah, I'm going to start looking at bigger things for my collection, and they are certain things. But that Poe Dameron helmet looks excellent. You're right. If you're going to get that, and it's got Bluetooth in it, and you can sit with that and play your game, why wouldn't you want to do that? But yeah, the real thing on that announcement is, yes, that Hasbro have announced in 2018 that we will be bringing back the 3 3/4-inch Star Wars Vintage Collection back on those lovely, beautiful Kenner cards. Anyone seen the 40th anniversary, the 6-inch Black Series figures? Those cards, and everyone remembers those Kenner cards. In my opinion, all Star Wars figures should always be on those cards. We don't need any variations. They give you everything you need: a big picture, title, card in the bubble, the figure in the bubble, absolute perfection. And I'll be speaking more about that in videos I post later. But yeah, it's a range I'm really happy to see back. There is a fan figure vote underway at the minute.
I've got some details.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't actually looked at it to see who's in it, so or what how many's in there, or what the characters may be. So yeah, George, if you've got some more information, that'd be awesome.
Summed up, it's been a mess. So what Hasbro have done, they've given a bunch of Star Wars sites, popular ones say like Jedi News, Star Wars News Net, a load of Star Wars sites say, go and do a fan vote, and what's going to happen is we're going to get your shortlist of each of your websites, and then they're going to somehow merge them into one final shortlist to then have the normal fan vote that is Comic-Con. The issue, which I'm actually reading now because I read that it was due on the 26th of April, which is why this mess details come out, a bunch of fans have been hijacking the polls, and they've been trying to get Legends characters, which is what they were kind of against. So I'm looking at one of the sites, and they're 7. This isn't these 7, but at one of the websites that's been given the chance, they've got Ben Skywalker, which everyone's kind of moaning about because it was Legends fans getting involved. Whereas the other ones, you had Dr. Aphra, Pong Krell, which would be insane.
I love Pong Krell. The Umbaran arc in Clone Wars is my favourite, but anyway, so continue.
It's great. It's great. Ventress was one, and Satire Shan. They had the Force Awakens Luke, but removed it because they think they'd removed it because common sense indicates there'll be a figure in the next year.
Oh, God, yeah.
But there's just a lot of issues about this at the minute where people are, they're going to wait for Hasbro to make a comment because they've messed up. Normally, they just let you have a random vote. But by distributing those to different websites, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot because they've completely lost procedure for a vote being hijacked across 6 different companies. But I'm very intrigued for these. I've invested a lot in the Anniversary Black Series figures. I would have him with me now, but he's not here. But 2 more to the collection. I have the Legacy pack of Darth Vader, and I have the R5D4. There is
in the Legacy pack. I haven't really checked it out yet.
So you get new Darth Vader. So the Darth Vader comes out as a actual, exactly like the other figures, the card back, and then you get a box. Inside that box is some bits to make a stand if you want to. The early birds cardboard to use as a stand, but I've opened it to have a look at the Vader. So I have the Vader in his packaging properly. It's open but not open. That's the way of saying it. But I'm not building a stand because I want to leave it as it is. R5, there is an incredible story of how the UPS man delivered that to my door, which was very, very stressful. And at the minute, I'm currently in the middle of a fight. Well, not in the middle of a fight. I'm trying to fight the eBay prices to get myself a Pilot Luke, which has got no success so far because he is at ludicrous fees.
It's still, I think it's not
£100 onwards.
Yeah, it's not far enough removed yet from Celebration for that figure to start being people snapping it up. And I get it; it's something I would love to add to my collection. Give it a month or so. Let people, and if you really want it that badly, yes, the card is what I'd really want it for. If you want that Luke figure, you can certainly get it for around about the £40 mark if you want to get the original version, which it's the same figure. There's nothing changed articulation-wise, design-wise. All it is the card. But the card is what the collectors want.
Compared to the Kylo Ren one we had last year, which was with the stand and the banner and everything else. However, on that, though, we then moving on to the announcement that's killed us. All 3 of us have our jaws hit the floor when we saw this. Now, we didn't know too much about Timothy Zahn's Thrawn character before we saw Rebels. We hadn't read. I know I hadn't, and George hadn't read the books. Dave, had you read the Empire's
book? I have got the Empire books, but I've never gone through them. Or I started reading them, but I haven't got enough. I didn't have enough knowledge. I knew who the character was. Some of his backstory, but I'd never got deep into it enough. I hadn't read all the books all the way through. I'm not a massive book fan.
We were introduced. All three of us were introduced properly with the new canon, with the new Thrawn. And by the end of it, we have all loved the character so much, exactly why we're doing the book review. And then they dropped the bomb of the SDCC exclusive Thrawn. What they've done is they've released not only the Thrawn 6-inch figure, but they've released his office, which in it contains everything you see from the Rebels show, with his twin chimera, with the Holy Grail, which I think is hilarious, with Greer's helmet, with everything you see in his office. And the box itself opens up to just basically reveal him in his office, and it is stunning.
I'm going to get one. Listen, I've criticized the Luke prices. I think it might be easier for me to get myself a San Diego Comic-Con Thrawn.
If A1 have the release like they had for Obi-Wan.
Yes, I'm hoping so, because London Comic-Con's around the time of San Diego Comic-Con. If they're making of a deal, I'm going to be at San Diego. I'm not going to be at San Diego. I'm going to be at London Comic-Con on the Saturday, trying to get a few little bits and bobs, but I'd really hope they do, because I picked up Ben Kenobi for £45 and he's gone up to 65 now, which is I was lucky by a couple of weeks basically. I've got myself the Kylo Ren last year. That was a very interesting tale that I would call myself a hypocrite for going into detail on. But I need this Thrawn because listen, right, the pilot Luke. The main reason I want him is to complete my anniversary series. That's the OCD in me. I don't want him because I need him. I need Thrawn because I need Thrawn.
Beautiful.
The box is an absolute. You know what? This could be a phrase, but it is a thing of beauty. I will say that for most of these toys, but to see that,
it's George's favourite gift here.
I'm so happy Rogue One came out in HD that its beautiful meme is in HD now.
Yeah, it is just it's a perfect set to have there for a collector, especially to have that set. It's a very much. They were talking about the centerpiece things that they're bringing out for the Black Series, and this is a centerpiece item. This is something that you would have open, with thrown in the middle, and people will go, "Wow, that's an amazing thing." The fact it's got the Holy Grail from Last Crusade in there is the fact that was what they chose to make as one of the items. They could have chose so many things, like some of the art from Sabine or something like that, or Hera's stick that should be
the Calicori.
A stick that should be the house before,
the Calicori.
But the fact they chose that, it makes me want to set even more, just because they put that little cup in there, because they chose wisely.
Yes.
It's
incredible.
It's just it's stunning, and I absolutely will have to have it. And if I've got to pay a king's ransom for it, or just give George my debit card when he goes to London Comic Con.
If they do have some at London Comic Con, you can guarantee George will be picking up 3 of them, and not for sale, because they will be for us. And then of course with George, I see you put it in the Force Friday. That's when the normal 6-inch.
They did confirm that Thrawn isn't a Sunday Comic Con exclusive. But there's no point of buying the Force Friday one, because it's in that abysmal red box that I utterly despise.
With no extras.
No, with no helmet of Commander Greed.
That's the thing, though.
Dismantled. We
got the burnt Kylo Ren, burnt Vader helmet with the Kylo Ren, and that thing's wicked. So that's one of the reasons why you buy the set, is just because, again, Holy Grail, Commander Greed's helmet. But again, they've actually announced that Commander Greed will be a Toys R Us exclusive over here in the UK, and I will be getting one of those.
I think it's because his helmet's in. They can't really have his helmet in the Thrawn as a side piece and not have him himself.
Well, there'll be no point doing a mold and painting it without really doing the rest, would there?
Yeah, it's just a random head. One thing I've always wondered, Thrawn, did he just have the helmet or did he have the head underneath? Because,
just the skull still inside it, just holding it. Yeah, definitely.
It would be very intriguing. I want to know whether the book, I haven't got that far, I don't know if he's even mentioned the book, but I just want to know how he got Greed's helmet and why. Did you know Yoda took it off? I don't know, but I mean, it's little things like that.
Exactly that. You've just blown my mind with one question, and now I need to know. I need to know why he has that. Why is that helmet significant? Oh, cheers, George.
But yeah, it's. I'm intrigued. I could give an episode on talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn. I didn't even read the original books. I just knew of him and looked into him, and now I have absorbed him. He's that kind of guy.
He's a standout character in Rebels since he's come in, and probably all of his scenes for series 3 were what, 20 minutes maybe in total.
A grand total of 1 episode's length. However, in that 1 episode's length, well, actually, that's not even include Zero Hour. If you take 0 Hour out of it, it's about 20 minutes. But add it all up, and his character, it just transforms it. The series was good, but that added extra layer of villain. And not only because, look, I love Vader personally. He's my favorite villain of all time. But to have the Rebels have their own proper villain, and to have the way he let them have those little victories so at the end of it he could crush them. So have all these little pieces add up by the end of it was genius. And Dave Filoni just spot on nailed it. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant character.
He's, as his favourite word, his art. I just can't wait to see him in season 4. I'm excited that they're ending it with him still alive, in the sense that I didn't ever see Thrawn getting past 2 seasons of Rebels. So I'm happy they're ending it on his 2nd season, because hopefully, if they do want to take that risk and get rid of him, I'm hoping he takes 3/4 of their team with him.
Definitely.
So that very neatly brings us on to the end of our show with our Cantina Talk. And now this week's Cantina Talk is slightly... we talked about kind of during this episode, but we want to look at what the future of Star Wars animation will bring, and what shows we want to see, and where we want to see them in the timeline. Now, for me personally, what I want to see is about 10-15 years into the gap between 6 and 7. I want to see a series set around Luke and his Jedi Academy, about him building up. I want to see his relationship with Kylo Ren, or well, at this point, Ben Solo. I want to see how it evolves, where it goes wrong, and how we get to the point of the Knights of Ren, and how we get to where we get to in The Force Awakens of Luke vanishing. I want to see that relationship. I mean, you've got such a massive period of time to expand in, but I really want to see Luke bringing this new order together, bringing the new Jedi Order up, seeing his relationship with Ben, as in Obi-Wan, with Yoda as well, with the Force Ghost, maybe even having Anakin involved. And kind of seeing from there where it could go. So that's something I personally would love to see. What about you guys?
Do you want to go first, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much in the same era, but I'd like my next series to pretty much take up after Jedi. Jedi finishes, start again. Now, the thing I'd always kind of want to see is something that was very much more the Empire and how they built from there. So it would have been very much, I mean, what we saw... Clone Wars is very much the beginning of the Empire and the Senate, not the Senate, how it becomes the Empire. But I'd like to see that. But obviously now Battlefront has kind of taken that, where it is going to be very much from the side of these terrorists have just blown up our Death Star and killed our leader. What are we going to do? So that's kind of taking that. But certainly that is the era where I want to see my next series set. Yeah, do I want to see it with classic characters? Maybe not. But definitely around that, the Empire of as far as they're aware, of all gone, and that build up again of where eventually will become the First Order. And
so you're talking about like the Aftermath era, because the Aftermath books do take it from Jedi to Jakku, and they build up the characters of Rey Sloane with who's. If you haven't read the books, Rey Sloane is actually quite prominent in quite a few of the books, and she's someone I would love to see on screen. Then you've also got characters like Nora Wexley and Wedge. Again, characters that we all know and love, but would love to see more of. So the Aftermath era for sure. And yes, I would love to see the beginning of the New Republic. Like if you've read Bloodline and there's some of these characters, like you'll have Varish Vickleen, you'll have Mon Mothma, you also then have people like Lady Cruz Sindian. Again, these characters are very key to the Resistance and the First Order and how everything builds up from there. You have the cartels that come in after the Hutt cartels are gone. You now have people like Rim Riven Dai. You have people who basically come out of the woodwork from Nalhata and Nar Shaddaa and from the Outer Rim to take over, and to see people like Ransom Casterfo and the gap between centrists and the populists in the Senate, to have that era brought into it would be incredible. I would love to see. So I want to see a lot between 6 and 7. Sorry, George.
Every idea has been stolen. The main one I've wanted for a long time is, well, I've wanted a lot of things in my life. The rise of the First Order via the Empire's point of view, that's something I wanted, and that's something I'm so happy that Battlefront's giving us. So perhaps, dependent on what happens in Battlefront, maybe they could still do a series. Battlefront's telling the story of one squad.
Yeah.
There are plenty of other squads. We know off canon that General Hux' dad is
Brendel
part of
Hux.
Yeah, we could get not with him and Ben as children together. I'm talking if we had some sort of Hux dynamic. Could you want to follow that kind of family? Or I would love to see something from.
I'd want Hux to shout in every episode for no reason, just to stand
as
in
a
the corner.
child, like bring me my.
The interesting thing is he's not Brendel Hux, which is his father, but Armitage Hux, which is the Hux we know from episode 7. He is in the third Aftermath book, and
he's a little kid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little kid in that. So see where he comes from is very interesting. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for people out there, especially Robin, who I know will be reading the book very soon. So there's bits to it though.
Yeah, with Hux, I read that from the visual dictionary for episode 7. That's why I got a bit of background. It's something I thought that'd be really cool to have a peek in that era. One thing I would love to see, and at the end of Return of the Jedi, Luke has become a Jedi Knight. You know, you must confront Vader, then you are a Jedi. Right. So we haven't seen Luke in his prime yet.
No.
And it's such a hard one, because do you want to see animated Luke? Well, I loved animated Anakin and Clone Wars people. So maybe I do.
But
and I feel
bringing Mark Hamill as
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, Mark Hamill would, if it's right, the story's right, and something I think Mark Hamill would do it. I would love for him to do it. But then again, do you want the early days or do you want the mid? Because it's about 15 years between. It's about halfway through 6 and 7 that Kylo kills them all. So whether they had a short 3 series, 3-4 series run, builds up Luke in his prime, the Academy doing stuff again. Battlefront's gonna talk about Luke a lot because he's in the trailer. He's got a scene with the main character. I don't know. It's very interesting. Battlefront changed a lot of my dynamics for what I want from an animated series, because with Battlefront making games again, maybe I'm going to want some Battlefront stuff instead of animated stuff. You never know what suits. A series will work for some great things, but so would a game story. Venator Last of Us, that's the definition of a story for a game. One thing, this is more of a dream that's never going to happen. I would love it if they just come out. I mean, Dave, when Filoni was talking about, I didn't get to end my last series, but I'm ending this one. Goodbye. That's how the Rebels panel to me went. I would love it if he come out next year, like,
Like,
I'm bringing it. I'm bringing it back. It's like next year's just come out. I'm bringing back Clone Wars.
Like, you mean the year after, sadly.
It's just give us one
finish
season.
Clone Wars,
Give us one. He's never ever going to get it. There's too much politics between Cartoon Network and Disney. Too much time has passed. Stories have been taken over into Rebels. The dream is one season of Clone Wars.
As long as Filoni's in charge of Disney animation going forward, I'm quite happy. The guy knows his styles and knows the stories. He's so in that world, and the story group that in Lucasfilm that surround him. Actually, it can't be anything but a good series. I can't wait. The animation, to how far that's going to get us. It's going to. I mean, from Clone Wars to Rebels. The end, like Rebels now. Some of those episodes, the animation is stunning. I mean, it's just. I think we're back to when they went to Mandalore, and I just talked about the footprints that you saw as they walked through the snow. You could see the snow falling away as they lifted their feet in their footprints. Just that level of detail is, I've not seen anything that surpassed it at all in most major animated films. Some of them don't even reach that standard.
And then they had to go and ruin it all by releasing a Star Wars tweet by going, look at one of our favourite characters, AP5 and all his gloriness, and we just went,
That was like a nightmare for you guys. I think it was like 12:30 at night. I just sent it you. It's like, imagine waking up to that message.
It's just, He's got. Honestly, I don't know if is it just us. I don't know, but he seems to get so much love out there from like.
He gets
he's
a lot
got
of which
really.
There's a lot of young fans that like Star Wars Rebels. I think that's the way of putting it.
Yeah, but just because you love Rebels doesn't mean you have to love AP5.
Exactly. Yeah.
We love Rebels. We hate AP5.
Hopefully Thrawn takes him.
Yeah, I must admit that I'd also be quite interested to see a series set between 4 and 5. To have some of the, because they've had that in some of the comics, but there's there's a few more gaps to fill in. But either that or go further back and just go before episode 1, go to look at Darth Bane, because they brought him in Clone Wars, and then kind of it was gone because it was in the last series, so the arc wasn't fully explored. So to see maybe the Rule of Two introduced, maybe to see the Jedi in their prime, maybe to see the last Jedi, so the last Sith that was killed by a Jedi, which was 1,000 years before, to see the Battle of Malachor. There's so much, because they added that in with Rebels, with Malachor, and with the Jedi versus the Sith. To see that would be cool. To see an era of a canon Old Republic, that would be decent.
There's a series that I would love. It should be called Soldiers of Scarif, and it's based at the training center for the Death Troopers. And it would be a brilliant season. You're following these guys on their journeys through training on the battlefield, going for dinner with Krennic, and the season finale is that Krennic, says deploy the garrison, and there they are on the beach. They come across this crazy, what do you call them, a Jedian, who's on a mad one, and then the season finale is that Baze Marbus kills their entire team, and then their bodies get vaporized by Tarkin.
Yeah, it's just that there is so much.
That would be a good comic, though, actually, to have a 5-issue miniseries on the training Death Troopers.
I could write that series for them.
I would send that email to the I'd like to do this.
It's like, hey Pablo, give me a Marvel deal now. Why? Because I've got an interesting story about Death Troopers. I don't know. I mean, I love Death Troopers. If I was rich, I would have a Death Trooper costume. Right where that bookshelf is, it would be there. And I would look at it every day and I'd be like, wow. And then I'd get OCD and I'd buy a second one.
I'm a bit gutted that he didn't have Death Troopers with Vader, because that would have been kick-ass.
I don't know. He didn't need them. He would have got outshone.
It would have been so cool.
He would have been embarrassed.
Amazing. However, though, it doesn't make sense when you get to episode 4, because they're like, where's Death Troopers gone?
That's why I like the fact they killed, because the visual guide, I'm pointing because it's actually down there. The visual guide does state that the Death Trooper base was on Scarif, which explains at the end of it why it's no longer about. There's so much potential. I would personally take it more serious, though. I don't know how they'll be able to pull off, because at the end of the day, it's going to be on Disney XD. It has to be a kids' TV series.
Yeah,
I would love a series set not just after episode 3, but maybe the first few years of the Empire's reign.
I don't think
the Purge of the Jedi.
Purge of the Jedi would be cool, but I think
it wouldn't work for Disney. It would. I would like to see something where you've got a bunch of Academy sort of stormtroopers taking their journey, but they can't really do anything because they're bad guys.
Because of Han Solo and because of Rebels, I don't think they're going to put too much more between 3 and 4. I think because of it being on XD, because of the way that Filoni especially did it with Rebels, where he kind of brought in the dark edge slowly, bit by bit. I think the most likely outcome would be I want to see Luke in his prime, because Luke is my favorite character of all time. But I think we'll probably end up seeing a Jedi Academy series. That would be the most likely outcome. However, this is us discussing some dream series. Part of that is, we'll muck around and make jokes about having a Death Trooper series, but I would love to see that as a comic book, as I said. But I think we'll either get something between 6 and 7, or we might get a legitimate canon version of the Old Republic, and that is something that would be very intriguing, because if you've played Star Wars The Old Republic Online, I love that game, or if you've played KOTOR or KOTOR 2, again, absolutely adore those games, but to have a canon version of the Old Republic would be very interesting.
I think
it's just the playground is so big and so dense,
and it's
kind of surprised
of
at whatever announcement we get is going to be like, oh, of course, that's where we're going to go next.
It's the thing with TV is the best ideas will work as films, not TV series. And there are some ideas that are so specific to TV, like the Jedi Academy, the early days. Like I said earlier, with the sort of Battlefront, there are some things that are going to be better suited to games now than TV. Something like Rebels would never have worked as a game. But this story of the Empire actually will benefit as a game more so than I think a TV series would in the early days. Because at the end of the day, if they tell a story properly, then it can be done better than a TV series. Clone Wars worked beautifully as a TV show. That could have been a game, but they went for TV, which worked. But I feel that because they've identified Battlefront 2, it's this single story of this one squad of people. Go for it being a game, because at the end of the day, it's a shoot 'em up game. But there's such a range of things. You know, any idea that someone's got, they obviously sit down and say, right, is this going to be a film? Is it going to be a TV show? Is this going to be a comic book series? Is this going to be a book? Is this going to be a game? That's probably what the story group talk about every time something's mentioned. So whatever ideas they have, they've got on the table and they know where they're putting them.
Indeed, indeed. So that'll bring Cantina Talk to a close this week. I'm very aware of the time. We can't keep Dave George for too long. But yes, we are very excited for our many announcements. We've got a lot coming up. There's a lot we haven't spoken about yet. There's a lot of ideas that the three of us have been banning around, specials we want to bring you, because now there's till September, and because there's no celebration coming up in the middle of the year, we have some ideas coming up, some guests, some special shows we got coming up. I've got ideas for certain little bits and pieces, and I know that we've got a lot coming up. We're going to be very excited to bring them all to you. I think that's it for this evening, gentlemen. Would you agree, or is there anything else you need to add?
Yeah, I mean, literally all I want to do finally is just for anyone who's now watching or listening to this later, a massive, massive thank you. Our Facebook page has just hit over I think it's 107 likes and follows as it stands today. Our subscribers are growing on our YouTube channel. So really just a really big thank you to everyone who's tuning in and who's listening to the podcasts, and just giving us all the feedback that we are getting. We are excited for the future. We have got stuff happening. We've got stuff in the background that we can't talk about yet and things like that. But we've got stuff that's going to come. I think we've got some really good shows coming, some really good content. We're gonna try and make this a really great channel and a great place to talk Star Wars.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, yes, with the Facebook page especially, we had a post go out over the weekend that not only did it have over 25,000 people saw it, and it had finding it now, yeah, 24,544 people saw it, and 396 people liked it. Yeah, we want to say a massive thank you to everyone for that, and we thank you for liking the Facebook page, subscribing to us on YouTube, following us on Twitter. We have a great fun doing this. We don't get paid for doing this, but we love doing it. But yes, I think George, is there anything else you need to add?
Go www.facebook.com/buildingarty.
Definitely
have a look at what I've been working on. I will be able to tell you guys more about it.
Do you want to drop a few minutes? Give it a few minutes. You don't have to cut off yet.
So, how do I describe it? I like Star Wars.
That's a given being on here.
To cut a very long story short, I've always kind of loved the Builders Club. They were one of my highlights of Celebration last year, and I'll just say I'm a student at university doing media production, film, TV stuff. And for my end of year project, I thought, you know what, why not do a documentary on the RT Builders Club? It'd be something I'd enjoy doing for a change, rather than some arty thing that no one's going to watch. People are going to want to watch it. It's Star Wars, and it's something that I've sort of enjoyed meeting people, chatting droids, chatting Star Wars, chatting other things I can't talk about, and just sort of seeing more and opening my eyes to something I want to do in the future, which is build my own droid. I've always wanted to. And put a long story short, I knew this documentary was going to be made, and I just thought, you know what, why not set up a Facebook page for it? And it kind of blew up. I've crossed 300 likes on it now, which was, as Palpatine would say, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And I have a kind of trailer, I'm calling it, the kind of trailer where I've got the guys talking on the, everyone I've interviewed is talking about the 40th anniversary of Star Wars and the first ever time they watched Star Wars. It's a kind of teaser because it's not in the film, but it's giving a vibe of what it's going to look like, how the sort of everything's going to fit together, and you vaguely meet some of the guys, but yeah, it's a project I'm doing for university. However, it's become a lot more than a university project. especially off the reception of what people have been talking to me about it. I've made some of the classic vintage trading cards, designed for the documentary. I've done some posters. But I would just say on here, I'm hoping for a May the 4th release date. I'm not getting my fingers crossed because editing 95 minutes of interviews talking about Star Wars is not the easiest of things to do. But I am going to keep all updated with things. It's just been very stressful, but I am still here. I'm powering through.
Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, don't forget to check out the Building R2 Facebook page. Don't forget to check out Ones with the Force on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on iTunes, or SoundCloud. Yeah, thanks for joining us as per usual. Check out everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We were Ones with the Force. May the Force always be with you. Good night.